Good morning, good afternoon, or evening, wherever you may be. My name is Charles Comer, and I will be the host of the Over and Under podcast. On this podcast, we will be giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly of the weekly college football games. Not your typical college football podcast. I am a stats guy. I believe the numbers give you a good preview on how the games will be played out. However, upsets do happen, underdogs come into play, and stats don't matter in a dogfight. With me today, I have my fellow good friend and sleeper pro picks expert, James Spencer. How you doing, James?
Yo, what's up, everybody?
So over this weekend, we had a lot of interesting games. So I want to know, out of the North Carolina, University of Virginia, or the Utah USC game, which one did you feel would have happened without the outcome happening first?
Which one I think would have happened, regardless?
Yeah.
Let's see. I I think which one is it? The Duke and Florida State game. I believe that one it would have happened either way, even though it was pretty close at first. But with their quarterback going out, like close to the second quarter, close to the end of the second quarter or so, I think it might have been a little closer. But I mean, injuries happen all the time, so you got to just play through it or just show up after your main dude goes down. So I think that one would might have just been closer, but I think the outcome would have been the same.
You know what I don't like about Florida State is I don't think Jordan Travis is that consistent.
Oh, you
I don't
don't?
no, I don't think he's that consistent. I think like in the first game he played Clemson, I feel like we got a good second half quarterback out of him. But ever since then, he's been his left arm's kind of hurt, this non-throwing arm. But to me, Keon Coleman doesn't get enough touches for me. I don't understand how you're that tall, right? And you're that explosive, and the offense is not centered around you. They got like two or three guys that are pretty tall, but Keon Coleman's a transfer from Michigan State, and I think he should be getting more touches. But
Which I agree with
they
you
got
on
to
that. Oh, go ahead.
no. Go ahead.
Which I agree with you on that. I think he could put up major numbers if they would just give him the ball a little bit more because every touch that he did get, he was getting them down the field. But like you said, I mean they're not giving him the ball enough. Which with Travis though, I think he's still pretty consistent for the most part. He spreads the ball pretty well. This game he had to actually run a little bit more than usual, but I mean I think he's still consistent. It's just he just spreads it around so much that Coleman just kind of gets left out in the wind. But I think if they feed him the ball a little bit more, then they could what's it called? Wouldn't have games like this close, even though Duke is still pretty good. But I think they could have maybe ran away with it earlier in the game.
Yeah, Duke defense is pretty good. I didn't expect the quarterback to play. Actually, I didn't think he was going to play because he had that high ankle sprain
Yeah,
that
yeah,
happened
for
in the
sure.
game.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I
that's the,
didn't.
that's the thing right there. Just like if he's 100%, I think like it'd be a little bit closer. But again, if Travis actually feeds the ball to Coleman, they could also just break away with it at the same time. But give a credit to Duke for actually like their defense stepping up and just holding Florida State back for as long as they did. I mean, your defense can only do so much until they just tire out, and then that's it. You got to score points.
The backup from Duke is he needs more snaps. I think he's
Definitely.
going to need some more snaps because I don't think I think with the quarter he played it wasn't hot. So he's definitely
Mm-mm.
going to need some more snaps. You see,
Yeah.
Florida State win the ACC outright.
I could see Miami upsetting them later on in the season.
Miami.
Yeah. Maybe even Clemson, but I I don't I don't know. Florida State, I don't believe in their defense as much as their offense. But that's just
I
me.
yeah.
Don't listen to me. I'm just Just
You're
speaking
the
my truth.
expert. Yeah,
I don't think their defense is like that. But hey, whatever. Offense, cool, but defense, shoddy. But that's just me.
going to speak. Yeah, going and transitioning into defense. The North Carolina University Virginia game was won on the defensive offensive line. To me, this game early first half, North Carolina defense did come up with a interception in the end zone, an interception in the end zone, which led to a field goal, and them going up 17-14 and a half. But the second half of the game, it was kind of back and forth. Virginia had a fumble in the end zone that resulted in a touchback, and it was a perfect opportunity for everyone's favorite quarterback, Drake May, to be Drake May, right? And I just want to read off how the last two drives went, okay? So Drake May pass complete to Chapman. Drake May pass complete to Walker. Drake May stacked. Drake May incomplete pass. Drake May incomplete pass. Drake May incomplete pass. All right. So that was the second to last drive. Then again, they get the ball back, right? They got to
Mhm.
go down. It goes Drake May incomplete pass. Well, Drake May complete pass. Drake May incomplete pass. Drake May throws an interception. So back and forth, Virginia should have never been in this game. I don't know how they were in this game. I mean, you have the home field advantage. You have the Heisman study quarterback. Like I tell you, I'm a stats guy. So on paper, this should have been a walk in the park. It should have been
Definitely.
happy homecoming, like a happy homecoming game. You book that team. That's okay, but they come into your house and you don't embarrass them a lot, but you send them on their way. But
Definitely.
Drake May is only completing 50% of his passes. So when he played Louisville last week, when he played Miami last week, he went 17 of 33. And then this week he went 24 of 48. I don't think that's Heisman caliber, especially when you have people like Michael Penix and Bo Nix completing 78, 68% of their passes, and you're just completing half. And you're losing. You're losing games.
Well, credit to
Um,
Virginia on that part, just because their running game is what really kept them in it. Just off of this, just right here, they rushed as a team for 228 yards total rushing yards, which Virginia is Virginia. So I mean, if you're letting them do that to your defense, that a top 10 team with a solid defense, it's gonna be hard to win a game. And then, like you said, not even 50% of completing of his passes and everything, and then that pick at the end. I mean, I don't know. Heisman caliber, yeah, that's tough right there. But I give more credit to Virginia for actually showing up and playing well. I think UNC just took them for granted and just like another just quick game. I'm gonna throw for 400, 200 yards, 5 touchdowns, whatever, and get up out of here. And this is what happens. And they what's it called? They didn't keep on the gas through the whole game. I mean, they let up after halftime, and this is what happens. And then your quarterback is just he's playing well, but not as people expect him to play. Because I mean, with the completions and attempts, I mean, you got to complete more passes than that, and it could be on the receivers at times too. But at the same time, you threw 11 times to Walker for 146 yards. I mean, something you're doing something right, but at the same time, where are all these other passes going to? You need to spread this around a little bit, help your team out, but you also gotta not throw game decision interceptions when you're trying to go down the field. You can't do that, especially like as a Heisman candidate. Like You can't do that, especially like at a crucial time of the game like that. It doesn't work. If where you're trying to go as a program and everything, that's not it. And you being a top 10 team, you got to play better than that, especially with a team like Virginia. But credit to Virginia again, they showed up and played well, and they came out on top. But as Drake May and UNC, you cannot let that happen, especially in the ACC. You have to win.
And you say, credit to UAV's offense, but their defense, North Carolina went 4 from 13 on third down conversions, and they were 0 for 2 on fourth down conversions. I don't, with being North Carolina, you know how it's like if you're Alabama, right? You know everybody's gonna come in and give you their best effort, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, we beat Bama, right? With North Carolina kind of having that status this year that, okay, we're undefeated. I think this is the first taste that they got like, okay, everyone's gonna give us their best effort, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the stats that UAB had, unreal, right? They don't do that every week. They were 1-5.
Yeah.
1-5. You let a 1-5 team come in there and basically out be more physical almost the whole game. And
Mm-hmm.
when the plays need to be made, make the plays. So
Yeah.
overall it was a good fight though, and I'm glad that the Cavaliers came out victorious. But speaking of victorious, this is kind of the game I want to talk about. And you kind of brought these stats up to me about 3-0. He
Mm-hmm.
Utah lost their starting quarterback Cam Rising at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Rising is one of the quarterbacks that has got to that status of being Utah's like caliber quarterback. The U.S. team got embarrassed last week in Fort Notre Dame. They got embarrassed pretty bad, and it was a poor performance on the offense side and an okay performance from the defense side because most of Notre Dame points came from them being on a short field, right? So I can't say that Notre Dame really started at their one and drove all the way down, right?
Yeah.
So in that environment, I think USC forgot that, like, okay, our offense didn't play so well last time. Our defense did. But our defense still is a liability, to this team. Utah had a total yards of 482. 247 of those 247 of those yards came on the ground. I don't know if you know who Bryson Barnes is, but the Utah coach at the end of the game at the beginning of the game, they're like, they got a Heisman caliber quarterback, Caleb Williams, but we got a pig farmer called Bryson Barnes. So I don't know, the kind of jokes from going around on Twitter, and I don't call it X, I call it Twitter, right? Because I'm all about it. Is that they got beat by a pig farmer, right?
Yeah.
He was 14-23, 3 touchdowns through the air, 1 interception. His main target, Vaki, I believe I'm pronouncing it right, but if I'm not, I do apologize.
Yeah.
5 catches, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns, 9 carries, 68 yards. He had an overall of 217 yards, all-purpose yards. He was the difference maker in this game, and to be honest with you, the last 2 years he's played on defense.
Oh, what?
He just started playing on Utah's offense. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, they put him in the rotation.
That's a great transition.
You can't to go from that's kind of like what Travis Hunter plays both ways. This guy's just like, all right, I've been playing one way, and then come over here and just put him in the offense, and he just goes off on like that.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm worried about USC for the rest of the season. To be honest with you,
Which I mean, yeah, I've told you this. I don't believe in USC. I don't even believe in Williams. Like, yeah, everybody can believe the hype or whatever, but this man threw 0 touchdown passes this game. 0. That's your Heisman. This your king right here. This is who you. This who y'all want to win the Heisman. Like, bro, what are you doing out there? Like, I don't know. Uh he's the average quarterback to me. And people can be mad about it or whatever, but I don't see I don't see it. I don't know why people saying he's this and he's that. And I mean, like versus non top 25 teams. He's 70% completions, passing yards 317, TDs 78-7. Versus top 25, 51% completions, 172 passing yards, 6-6 TDs to interceptions. I mean, when he has to play big with a top caliber team, he ain't showing up. And this is a perfect example. He made it through for 250 yards, but where the touchdown passes? How are you helping your team with this? And their defense, oh my goodness. What is the defense in USC? I mean, you let Utah run all over you. And Barnes just did whatever he wanted. I mean, he did have that one pick, but I mean, Utah had no problems running their offense. They just outplayed them. USC is just all hype to me.
You know, I disagree with you that Williams is just not him. Like he's not that person, right? I feel like at some point, I think the system that he's in, right? Because with Lincoln Riley is an offensive, coordinator that came, well, not offensive coordinator, but he's offensive minded, right? He came from Oklahoma, which Oklahoma is so happy that they got rid of him. I hear it all the time on Twitter. But Caleb Williams, I've always said, because me being an offensive lineman, you're only as good as your offensive line, right? In the Notre Dame game, they got exposed. The offensive line got exposed, and I'm pretty sure Utah went and watched that film. Like, okay, this is what we have to do, right? We got to make him get outside the pocket. And even if he does get outside the pocket, he's gonna make a couple plays because he is Caleb Williams, right? But we're not letting him do every snap or every possession we have. We're not gonna let him have an explosive play, right? Now they did have some explosive plays. They had like the 78-yard catch by I think it was Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was Rice that I didn't think he was gonna catch that, but that was a good catch. But if they went out, right, they've lost 2 games because they lost to Notre Dame, they lost to Utah. They got to play Washington. They got to play Oregon. That's gonna be tough. You know, let's just say they do beat those teams. Let's just say he has overall crazy a crazy stat, right? He goes 25 for 32, 320 yards, 4 touchdowns. And they beat Washington and they beat Oregon. Are we still saying that he's not the caliber? He's not that person? Because those are big games. They're top teams.
I'm not worried. He hasn't showed up against top teams, so I mean, what am I going to be worried about? He's playing Washington and Oregon, which are the better teams in the Pac-12. I mean, what am I going to be worried about? I just gave you those stats. He doesn't show up against top 25. Like, I'm not worried about it. Until he proves me wrong, then nah, he's average. He's average. Sorry.
Oh man. We'll see. Hopefully, I think they go into a bye. I'm not 100% sure, but I will get that. But hopefully the
Yeah, I think
Trojans
so.
can bounce back. They go into a bye next week. Hopefully they can bounce back. Lincoln Riley didn't let any of the players be interviewed. Caleb Williams didn't shake Bryson Barnes' hands at the end of the game. So it's kind of like, your coach babies you, you act like a baby, you get beat like a baby, So
That shot's king, like I said.
At the end of the day, hopefully the Trojans can bounce back, and hopefully we can see them make it into an okay bowl game because the college football playoffs is out of the question. But whose college football place is not out of question is the Ohio State Buckeyes. James, tell me your key points from this takeaway of this game: Ohio State versus Penn State.
Ohio State's defense is top tier. Goodness. Not letting these dudes score a touchdown is crazy. And what were they, number 6 or something like that at that point? goodness, Ohio State's the real deal. Marvin Harrison Jr., that guy is a grown man playing out there with children. To be honest, Penn State, they tried. I mean, it looks like a close game, but these are all field goals. And with total rushing yards 49, passing yards 191, total yards uh overall the whole game 240. That's crazy just to have that kind of set. I mean, Ohio State didn't have the best rushing attack either, but their passing game is crazy. Their defense can carry them all the way. But to be honest, I think Penn State still can have a chance. They're still a pretty good team. They just got to bounce back next week. Because I mean, taking a hard loss like this against Ohio State that you haven't beat since like what 2015 to 16, it's gonna be tough to try to recover for the next week. There's that hangover like some of these other teams had this week. So if they can get over that and keep playing well throughout the season, they may have a chance to rectify this and hopefully play a little bit better and put up points besides just field goals. But Ohio State, kudos to them because I mean they're just moving along, no problems at all.
Now the thing coming into this game was Ohio State is not tougher than Penn State. Penn State will be more physical. They're going to lock up Marvin Harrison Jr. Drew Aller is a way better quarterback than McCord. And like the whole week, I was just like, okay, let me see what's happened in the past, right? Penn State hasn't beat Ohio State in like I think he's like one. Well, the coach is like 1-16 against Michigan and Ohio State. Like that, I don't know how you bet on Penn State with a stat like that. I don't know how you click. I don't know how you click. Hey, let me make sure that Drew Aller throws 325 yards. He's going over. I don't understand that, right? Drew Aller was 18 for 42 with 191 yards through the air. 70 of those yards came in the last drive, where basically Ohio State was just like, okay, just throw what you want to throw. We
Garbage time.
Right? Garbage time, right? Ohio State's defense held Penn State 1 of 16 on third down conversions. And as you said, the key takeaway was this game was the person they couldn't put coverage on. Gus Johnson calls him Maserati Marvin. 11 catches, 100 yards, 1 touchdown. McCord found his mismatch. I still think the offensive line for Ohio State's a little shaky because McCord took some sacks, but I think that comes with a rivalry game of this caliber.
Yeah.
McCord went for a 22 of 35, 286 yards through the air. It was a good win. But I'm excited to see them play Michigan, and I want to be sure if they can beat Michigan, I'm like, okay, you can go play Georgia. You can beat Georgia this year, right? Because last year it was not good. You know?
Exactly.
Okay, you can go beat Georgia this year. Now let's say Penn State beats Michigan. For some odd reason, Drew Aller gets it together. They figure it out because they can't throw the ball downfield. They haven't had an explosive play where they threw the ball more than I think it was 20 or 30 yards downfield like the whole season. And that's what a lot of analysts were talking about. Like, hey, Penn State is just 10 yards here, 15 yards here, and then working down the field. They're not going to be able to do that against Ohio State. So I'll be interested to see if they can get that together and have a better showing up. Ohio State plays Wisconsin next, I believe.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Long as they don't get a big hit like Carolina, they should be fine.
Hey, underdogs come to play. You're a top team. Everyone's gonna come give you their best, right?
And that's
because
the thing. Like teams like that are hungry for a win against these top 10 teams, and I mean, you might have won this game against a top team, but if you don't play well next week, this team might sneak up on you and you're gonna be in trouble, like Carolina.
But even better than Carolina, let's talk about these Texas Longhorns. Let's talk about the Longhorns. Update: Ewers is going to be out for about 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh, okay. Did not know that.
So we're gonna, yeah, that was reported today. 3 to 4 weeks. So we're gonna go with the backup Malik,
Hmm.
and then after him, Archie Manning. So I
Oh,
don't think Archie's gonna be ready till next year,
yeah.
maybe a year after that. They said he needs some development. Um, but overall, I think Texas played down to the level of their competition, as they do a lot. They play down
Hmm.
to the level of competition. What were they tied with Wyoming in the fourth quarter? Right, Wyoming. We're talking about the Windy City, Wyoming. They're tied with
Windy
Wyoming in the
City,
fourth quarter.
Wyoming.
you
Hey,
know,
Wyoming's a tough team. Every time the Texas team plays, not just Texas, but like any Texas team that plays Wyoming, they always struggle. I don't know why, but they always do.
I don't think
Some,
Houston should have ever been able to hang with them now. You know, like Houston won a game last week off a Hail Mary. Who I forgot the team, and I apologize, but I forgot the team of a Hail Mary, right? Their coach is on the sideline about to have a heart attack because it's just every game he's on the hot seat. The boosters and everybody they want a good season in Houston Cougars, right?
well, everything runs
So
through their quarterback, and if he has an off game, they're not gonna win. And he showed up this game because I put money on him last week, and he did not show up for me. Anyways, beside the point. But he really showed up against Texas this week, and kudos to them because they were down 21-0 already in the second quarter and just stormed back and made it a game. And if they played like this every week, Houston would be a problem for going for furthermore into the season. But he doesn't always play like this. He shows up when he wants to, and I'm also Texas just came off a bye from after playing Oklahoma, which I think it was just a hangover from having the bye week and then having that big game the week before, and that's why they played like this. I mean, they did come out playing well, but I think it's just like a hangover bye that just you have to get your feet back under you to uh play a real game and not just practice and everything like that. But you have to shake that off. Even if you're up 21-0, you got to keep on the gas. This is college football. You got to just keep just pouring it on until you know for sure that you're gonna win. But I mean, Houston came out and played really well. He threw for 378 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like I said last week, this man was not doing this for me. So he's a different person this week. There's a whole different guy out there this week.
yeah, Donovan Smith was a whole different guy. Um, like you said, 370 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ewers 23 for 29, 211 yards through the air. But the big thing for me is Jonathan Brooks, 90 yards rushing. That doesn't seem right to me, right? To have
Hmm.
I say the top running back, not only in the Big 12, but I think in the nation,
Hmm.
90 yards. I need the playbook to be opened up. Okay, I need the playbook to be opened up because you oversize at least everybody by at least 50 pounds on the offensive line. Downhill. That's what Texas is known for. Downhill running. I don't need us getting this RPO. You know, rotation. Okay, maybe Ewers keeps it, maybe he doesn't. Let's put a fullback in there. Let's put Brooks back there. Let's run the ball downhill on first and second down. So if we do get to a third down, it's not 3rd and 12 where Ewers has to throw a slant or a fade to make the first down. It's
Hmm.
to me. The thing I liked about the game and like that Texas finished, because a lot of times when they get in games like this, they don't finish and they end up losing them.
Yeah.
Um, but I need Sarge to open up the playbook. But however, on our a thing we like to do on this over and under podcast. Over under. Did you think that the Houston third down conversion that was marked short? Did you think it was good or you think it was short?
I watched that play a few times, and I'm just saying, I think it was a first down, but again, I'm watching from the TV. I'm not down there. He might have got short, but the what's it called? The line on the first down line on TV could be a little bit off from what you see in real time. But for me, I thought it was a first down. But hey, I'm not a ref, so I could be wrong. But from what I saw, that's a first down. But I don't know.
I think it was a first down too. I think they did get away with that. Um,
But real quick,
I
going
think
back to Brooks real quick, he had 20 carries, and I think I give it more to Houston for holding him out of the end zone. He still had 99 yards rushing. It wasn't like a bad outing. He needed one more yard to go over 100. It wasn't super bad, but I give it to them for holding him out of the end zone because not the week before, but when they played Oklahoma, he had the same amount of carries and he had 129 yards and a touchdown, and Ewers threw for more yards. I don't think it's more of like the RPO and everything. I think it was just more of Houston keen on him to keep him out of the end zone and not have him dictate the game in the running game and make it go through Ewers to beat them on with his arm and everything. But it's still, I know it looks kind of shaky because he had 20 carries, but he was still doing pretty well on the ground. He had what's it called? Uh, about like 5 yards of average a carry going into that in that game. So it wasn't super bad, but I mean, like I said, I think it's more of Houston playing well against them than anything. They just really showed up this week.
so. Texas has a pretty easy schedule going for. I think Kansas State
Mm,
is what you
Kansas
say.
State, yeah. I mean, Kansas State ain't no slouch. It's the Big 12. It could be a game, but hey,
But
go
they found
ahead.
a quarterback, right? They got a quarterback. Is this Weaver? Is his name? I think they found
I
a
believe
quarterback
so.
that's pretty good.
I
Hopefully, we
think
can contain him. I'm just a Texas fan, so when I'm talking about Jones Brooks, I'm just
you want more
disappointed
out of
that I
them.
didn't get. Yeah, I want more. I want more out of him. I want the
Mm.
workload to be 28 carries a game. You know
Oh,
what I
you want them to
mean?
have like
20,
40
24.
carries.
Nah,
You
yeah,
want
like 40. 40.
you want to run
Nah,
this man to
nah,
the ground.
nah. I need him healthy. Week to week, not 40 carries, but I still want him to be active, right?
Yeah,
Texas makes it to the Big 12 championship. Over or
mm.
under?
I'll take the
What's
over.
your choice? Gonna take the
Over.
over?
I think it's gonna be Texas and Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship. To be honest, again, um, I really don't see anybody else really competing with them at least. I mean, who all is in the Big 12 right now? There's like 85 different teams. So Iowa State, Oklahoma State, Kansas, BYU, West Virginia, Baylor, TCU, Texas, Houston, UCF, Cincinnati.
Yeah, I don't
I can
think anybody.
see maybe if Kansas State pulls something out, maybe Oklahoma State, they're not playing bad. They're not showcased on TV, to be honest. They're not Nobody's watching them. So if something happens with like if Oklahoma State ends up being Oklahoma or something like that, or Texas ends up losing to Kansas State and Kansas State just wins out, then I don't see anybody else besides Oklahoma and Texas in the championship.
Speaking of Oklahoma being an Oklahoma, they
And
almost took
UCF plays so well.
they almost took an L 0 in Oklahoma over this weekend. But Daniel Gabriel found his targets, Stoops and Anderson. They showed up big time for him in this
Mm-hmm.
game. I did not have them on my list this week for my picks, so I kind of want to blame you for that because I did copy one of yours. So, but
Okay, see. First of all, I don't know why you just copy me. You could have taken a different receiver because I thought Farouk was going to be that guy. He just, I mean, after how it went against Oklahoma and Texas, I was like, oh well, he's going to be number one going in because they lost their top receiver. Boy, I was wrong. This redshirt freshman Anderson got 2 touchdowns off top with 105 yards. So hey, sometimes I'm wrong. I'll take that one, but you didn't have to copy completely what I put down either.
yeah, I was like, man, I was like Stoops, Anderson. I was like, where's Farouk? Where is he at? Like, what are we doing right now? I'm like, if the ticket is the only thing that doesn't hit on this ticket is that, I was like, I'm gonna be pretty upset. But I had some other things on the ticket that didn't hit, so I was like, okay, I'm not 100% upset. But
Yeah,
do you think
but
the Oklahoma Texas game with them having that kind of like a jet lag made both of these teams play?
I
It's kind of like sleepwalking this game.
I think so. Coming off that big game and then going into a bye and then just not what's it called, not playing the game for a week. I think it hit both of these teams pretty hard. I mean they ended up powering through and pulling it out at the end, but coming off that bye and then playing the Red River rivalry, that's tough to go into a bye week like that and then try to come back after that. And UCF and then and Houston, they're not the greatest, but if you give them a chance and you're a top 5 team, top 10, they're gonna play their hearts out regardless. And you got to show up even if you have that bye and you have that hangover from the game, the bye and the game a week before. You still have to show up on these games. I mean, of course they pulled it out, but it shouldn't even have been a game, to be honest.
Right. As we say though, the underdogs do come to play.
Hmm.
Um, did you take a peek at the controversial call of the Iowa game of the
Oh
punt
yeah,
return?
yeah. Um, I don't. That's crazy that they called that because if you already thought it was a fair catch, why don't you just call the ball dead already? You let the play run out, and then afterwards you want to go and review it. And his hand, like he was like telling his teammate like to just watch out, move out the way. His hand wasn't even up, so I don't understand why they called that. That was a weird situation for the refs to take into their hands like that. If you thought it was a fair catch, you should have just called the ball dead at that point. And you can tell that nobody thought the ball was there. Everybody was still coming at dude, and he takes it for a TD. Terrible call by the refs to take it into their hands and dictate the outcome of that game.
Yeah, that was the game because
Hmm.
they got it and then they couldn't convert, right?
Yeah.
Me, so the call was an illegal hand, like an illegal hand movement of a fair catch. Basically, I've never heard of that rule before. Never,
You know what I'm
right? And
saying?
I've been watching college football since forever, right? Like
Yeah.
forever. I've never heard of a illegal fair catch hand signal rule. So that's a new one to me. But now that that has happened, I need to make sure that everyone gets a memo. Hey, don't be waving your hand illegal with your left hand because if they call back something and you run it back and there's 1 second left, they're gonna call it back. So
But at the same time,
uh,
you've seen punt returners always like move waving their hands like just to get out the way, like just get away from the ball and everything. You've always seen that. But just because it was just he just used one hand and at the same time, like it didn't even go up. So you can just tell it's like just move. That's all it was. And I don't know. I don't like that call at all. Like to again, just calling it dead like that, cool. But don't let me score and then all of a sudden, oh, you know what, handbook, illegal hand or whatever it was. Just Where you pull that rule? Like I don't know. Terrible call.
Yeah, I do think it was a terrible call. But it shakes up a lot of things in that Big Ten because Iowa was supposed to be, you know, the team of the West. They can't even get an average like a 200-yard game. It's pretty ridiculous how bad their offense is. But you win games, you win games. I really can't say anything about that.
Yeah. And Iowa shouldn't have let the refs dictate it. It shouldn't have been a game like that. Talking about Iowa, they should have played better and not take it into the refs' hands. But hey, people show up and some people don't. That's how it went for a lot of these games. A lot of these top
Yeah.
teams too.
Speaking of top teams, the AP poll came out today. A lot of changes. We got not a new number one, but a new 25, I guess you could say, the number 25 team. James and Madison came in, the new 25 team. I don't know if you haven't been able to watch them, but their defense is crazy.
I haven't watched
They got a guy
a
named
lot of James Madison, but from what you told me, I believe it. From James Madison, like you would never think of them being that solid, but I'll take your word for it.
they got a guy named Jalen Green. I think he averages about 3 sacks a game, and they played. Sorry, it's off the top of my head. The team that they played, he had 5 sacks, which is like an FCS record,
Dang.
right? Or FBS record, right?
Mm.
So they just came from the FCS. But the bad thing about them is they can't play in the bowl game,
Yeah,
and they can't play for the conference title. They agreed to that. They didn't agree with you. They agreed like, hey, since we're coming from the FCS to the FBS, can't play in the bowl game, can't play in the conference championship. But I think that rule should be overturned because I just think they're too good not to watch on a big
yeah.
screen. You know,
They're having a season right now. Oh, the team they played was Marshall, by the way.
Marshall, yes, Marshall. They played at Marshall too. Pretty good environment there,
Yeah.
but they took the win. So I'm gonna go ahead and read off the top 25 teams. Tell me if you agree or don't agree. All right.
All right.
Georgia 1,
Okay.
Michigan 2, Ohio State 3, Florida State 4, Washington 5, the Oklahoma Sooners 6, Texas Longhorns 7, Oregon 8, Bama 9. Penn State drops 3 spots to number 10. Oregon State goes up 1 spot. Ole Miss 13, Utah 14, Notre Dame 15, 2-loss LSU 16, Missouri 17, North Carolina 18, Louisville 19, Air Force 7-0, best defense
Crazy.
in FBS right now. Duke drops 4 spots to 20. Tennessee Vols 5-2, 21. 22, Tulane.
Wow.
I will talk about that on another podcast, but I won't get how to rank that high. UCLA 23. USC drops 6 spots, 24.
Sounds about
And
right.
then your new number 25, James Madison. The only reason LSU was ranked with 2 losses is because they're a part of the SEC to me. That's the only way.
Definitely.
That's the only way. The
I
only
I
other
think
problem that I have with it is I think Oregon should be over Texas. I think their loss to Washington was not as bad as Texas lost to Oklahoma. To me,
I can agree with that. Yeah, for sure. Excuse me. I think James Madison should be over USC. I think USC should be number 25, to be honest. But for the most
they
part, I
still got
mean,
Caleb.
all right. For the most part, I think That's I don't see anything. Oh well, I feel like Missouri should be over LSU, even though they beat them. But I think Missouri's having a better season. Um, yeah, other than that, I don't really have a problem with anything. I didn't think Alabama was going to jump to the top 10 though. I would think it'd been probably they would have stayed at 11, and
You
Oregon
have
State
Oregon State.
Oregon State moves up one more spot, but that's just me. Um,
Well, the thing is, it's a lot's gonna change in these coming weeks because
yeah.
the number 2 team and number 3 team have to play, right?
Hmm.
Ohio State and Michigan, and then the number 10 team has to play. Penn State has to play them. The number 6, 7 team, Oklahoma, Texas are gonna play again. Washington has to play Oregon. Well, they
Hmm.
already played, so that happens. But Oregon State has to play Oregon. Utah has to play Washington. So there's a lot that's gonna be going on. UCLA has to play USC. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But and then LSU has to play Bama. That may be the factor if Alabama wins the SEC West.
Yeah.
Is if they beat LSU. And
Hmm.
I don't, to be honest with you, I think they're gonna lose that game. I think it's gonna finally come the Nick
Bama?
Saban. Yeah, I think they're gonna lose that game to LSU. Bama's secondary is his weakness. Their offensive line is their weakness. Their defensive line and their linebackers, which I think forever, as long as I've been watching Bama, have been their strength. But they've also usually had a great quarterback, not a good quarterback, but a great quarterback. And I don't think Jalen Milroe is a great quarterback. I think he's good enough to get the job done. He's not
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts. He's not no Tua. So
Hmm.
we'll see how that goes.
Only
But
thing
speaking of,
only thing on that just
go
real
ahead.
quick. LSU's defense is who cheese. That's the only thing I can say about that. It's just if Alabama can get their run game going and everything, and Milroe takes over. I mean, LSU they don't really have anything to stop Alabama, but their offense is pretty explosive. But I think it comes down to more of a whose defense is going to be the better defense when that game comes around. But LSU, and when that game does come around, they got to figure something out on defense to if they want to beat Alabama this year. Just because just the teams they play, they can put up points all they want, but they got to stop somebody. And they play who they play Army. I mean, it's Army,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it's Army. Yeah, we respect
But
the truth, but it's Army.
yeah, but they got to figure something out on defense for sure.
Well, hopefully they'll figure it out. I'm gonna live stream that game. We should live stream that game when it happens. I'm gonna
All
take
right,
off from work and we'll
playing on
live
the
stream
pod.
that game. Playing on the pod. But give me your top 5 Heisman candidates after this week, after all the controversy. Tell me who's in your top 5. I'm gonna let you know right now. Mine is probably gonna be totally different from the world because I believe that the
From
Heisman
the
shouldn't
world.
be. Yeah, I believe the Heisman shouldn't be just the best quarterbacks. You know what I mean? I think it should be the
Yeah,
best players in college
player.
football. Players at
Yeah,
this moment. If a
yeah,
kicker
yeah.
was 100 from kicking from 50-yard field goal, I might put him in there. I might
Oh,
try
that's
to put him in
crazy.
there, but I don't have a kicker in there, just so that you know. So, but
All right. For my top five right now, there's no particular order, but it's just a top five. McCarthy from Michigan, he's moving on up. He's been playing really well. I like him in my top five right now. When they play Ohio State, we're gonna see how good he really is. But for right now, I like him there. Jaden Daniels from LSU is having a season for himself. I mean, to play on LSU with that defense, you gotta do something. He's putting the team on his back right now. to try to keep them going. Um, I would take what's his name? From Texas Tech, the running back. I can't think of his name right now. I would put him in the Heisman race right now. This man has rushed for 100 yards every game so far, and
Yeah, he'd be on
that's
my
all.
ticket. Taha Brooks.
Yeah, he's rushed for 100 yards every game, and that's all Tech has right now. I think he should be. He's in my top five right now, but everybody, again, like you said, everybody looks at quarterback play, but I feel like he should be in there. Um, Bo Nix, I believe he's having a really good season. I like him a lot. Probably I might be a little biased because I'm an Oregon fan, but I'll take him in my top five. And then rounding it out on number five, I I like Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a force.
Wow.
He's I mean, what can I say? This man is really good.
Yeah, he
He's
is
having
him. He is him for sure.
yeah, he's him. So, but again, it's basically a quarterback award at this point. But those that running back and him should I feel like they should be in the running for it.
So you may be mad at me because who I put in my Heisman candidate, but I have a defense for it. Okay,
It's like Caleb
you did
Williams
take
probably.
the listen. I have a defense for everything I say. Okay, but for sure I got Michael Penix. I still believe he should be the number one quarterback to come out the draft. I got Bo Nix. Um, Bo's just gonna be Bo. He got plenty of weapons to throw to. They got a good run
hmm
game in Oregon. Got a great defense. So Bo Nix. I like Michael McCarthy from Michigan. I think he is well. Um, I have Marvin Harrison. That's kind of what I didn't expect you to say, but I guess we were on the same wavelength. That, but I don't think for the rest of the season, I don't think he should have a game under 85 yards. I
Yeah,
don't think he should have 85 yards. So, and then I gotta put Caleb Williams in there, and I
yeah, of
know he's
course.
lost two games, but But there's a a person that won the Heisman that also lost two games, and people don't talk about a lot. But he is one of the greatest quarterbacks came out of Baylor. It's RG3. You know what I mean? Baylor had lost two games. I think three, maybe two or three. Don't quote me on that. But he still won the Heisman, right? Because he had the stats to back it up. I think Caleb is going to surprise everybody. I think Lincoln Riley's going to finally get it. Like, hey, my bad. I've been too easy on the defense. I haven't been you know, coming up with the schemes and getting on my coordinator for not making it a good game so you can go in and run the offense. You don't have to go in and just try to have a big explosive play, right? Jalen Daniels was kind of like my sleeper pick.
hmm
I just don't think I think the only reason he has stats like that is because he doesn't have a defense. So I
That's what
mean,
I'm saying. I mean,
like
he has to show up, so that's why he's in
he
my
has
top
to
five.
show
He has
he
no
has to
choice.
show up over time. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But looking forward to this week 9 no matchups. So we're gonna do a little don't take our parlay. So just let everyone know we're gonna put a parlay on the week 9 matchups, but do not take our parlay. We don't condone and you gambling away millions of dollars or hundreds of dollars, be responsible, and we're not responsible for you losing your money. So I want you to tell me who wins. Oregon against Utah is on Fox, 3:30 Eastern time. Who you got?
uh, you said the over or under on that one,
We'll,
or
we'll
just
do
who
the
or
what we're gonna. Yeah, who wins?
uh, I think Oregon wins. It's gonna be close, but I think Oregon will end up pulling it out at the end. It's gonna be a tough game though, really tough game. The way the Utah's
I'm gonna
defense is playing and everything, it's gonna be it's gonna go to the wire.
I'm gonna pick Utah. I think they're gonna pull it through. I'm trusting. I'm trusting the pig farmer. You know what I mean? I'm trusting.
All
I'm
right,
trusting him.
whatever you say.
Oklahoma plays Kansas.
All right, Oklahoma's gonna blow them out.
Your favorite quarterback, Spencer Rattler, goes to Texas A&M. What do you think about that one? South Carolina, Texas A&M.
I'm getting off the Spencer Rattler train, and I'm going with A&M. This man upsets me every week. So nah, A&M.
Texas versus BYU.
Oh, so I'm taking Texas, but BYU is gonna make it a game.
I don't think it'll be.
Especially if Quinn is out. I think it's gonna be a game.
Oh, yeah. I just reminded myself Quinn is out.
Hmm And
Ooh.
BYU always gives Texas trouble. I think it's gonna be a game, but Texas will end up winning.
I'm gonna take Texas, and then on the South Carolina A&M game, I'm gonna take South Carolina. I do not trust Jimbo Fisher in Texas A&M.
But
You know his
you
buyout.
trust Spencer Rattler though? Crazy.
I will take Spencer Rattler. I'll take Spencer. You know, I'll take him. Just trust
All
me. I'll
right.
take him. He shows up every other game. So this is his last
Every
game.
other
He didn't
game,
show up.
yeah.
The last game he did show up. This is the game he'll show up. Jimbo Fisher's buyout at Texas A&M is like $70 million. So if they want to fire him, they got to come up with 70 big ones.
They got it. They just gotta what's it called? Sell a stadium or something. Boosters got it.
Sell
Somebody
this.
import one of them
Somebody with the
boosters.
oil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of them boosters got money,
that's a lot
especially
of
in College
cash.
Station.
That's a lot of cash. All right, so we go to number one Georgia versus Florida.
Nah, I think Georgia's gonna be just fine. Just gonna be another beating.
All right, I'm taking Georgia too. Notre Dame versus Pitt.
Now this Notre Dame could lose. I I'm gonna pick Notre Dame, but I feel like they're not gonna play well against Pitt.
Pitt upset Louisville.
Like I said,
I,
no,
I, I'm,
I'm
I
still
think I'm gonna
picking.
take.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Uh, I'm still gonna take Notre Dame, but Pitt's gonna make them work for it. It's gonna be super close. I think. You know what? Never mind. I'm gonna just go ahead and take Pitt. I'm gonna just take Pitt because
We're both gonna take the underdog.
something's telling me that Notre Dame is not gonna show up.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Pitt. I don't I don't know. It's just someone's telling me to take Pitt. It's a
Yeah.
3:30 game too. It's not a night game. I don't think Notre Dame plays good in the midday. They play good at nighttime or they play good early in the morning. Duke versus Louisville.
Uh, I think Duke is gonna. Well, no, wait. The quarterback. I don't know. Depends if the quarterback's gonna play or not. But if he plays, Duke will win. But if he doesn't play, Louisville will win. So uh, I'll go ahead and just take
So game time.
Louisville. Yeah, it's a game time decision, but for the sake of picking somebody, I'll take Louisville.
All right, you got Joe Milton going into Kentucky with Ryan Davis. Big Ryan Davis in the Kentucky backfield. Who are you taking?
Hmm.
Mind
Uh,
you, just up like 21, what was it, like 21-0 on Alabama
yeah,
before Alabama.
that's what I was trying to think. Yeah, I'll still take Tennessee. They're still a good team, and I think they'll be real hungry this week. So yeah, Tennessee.
Tennessee with me also. I think Joe Milton's finally getting in his groove. Ohio State versus Wisconsin for one of your primetime games on NBC.
Ohio State. I don't think they're gonna play good, but I think they'll still win.
You don't think they're going to play well?
No, after coming off that game with Penn State this past week, I think they're gonna struggle against Wisconsin just because they're gonna take them for granted. I just think it's just another team they're gonna blow by. They're gonna win still, but I think it's gonna be hard fought.
All right, I'm interested to hear your pick on this. Prime time, 7:30 Eastern time on ABC. You got Colorado playing UCLA Bruins. Dion, prime time of Colorado. It's got to play UCLA. UCLA probably has one of the best defense in the Pac-12. I think they're right under Utah.
Man, I love Deion Sanders in Colorado, and I'm glad they're doing well this year. But I think they're gonna lose. I take UCLA.
They're coming off a bye week from a pretty devastating loss to Stanford.
I think
29-0 comeback.
they're gonna be hungry, but it's gonna be like I said from the other games with Oklahoma and Texas. They're gonna have that bye hangover, but I think UCLA will still pull it out.
So we disagreed on A&M in South Carolina, and then we disagreed on Oregon and Utah. Everything else we were pretty much agreed on. But I'm going to take Colorado.
Uh,
I think Dion probably made his team run 100, maybe 100 to 200 up downs, or not run up downs, but laps for that loss, and because they had to practice the next day. I heard him in the little locker room interview. He's like, we're gonna get
yeah.
you right. It's my fault for not making sure you get right, and we are practicing tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the worst thing you ever from your coach after the game is for practicing.
Definitely.
Tomorrow. UCLA still has a freshman quarterback. He's still turnover prone. Like I think he's gonna maybe throw 2 or 3 picks because Travis Hunter is back. I think that secondary is finally going to get it under control, and I think we might see Colorado knock off UCLA Bruins. But yeah, we'll
Could
see
be
how it
right,
goes.
but I still believe in UCLA.
Yeah, I do too. But I appreciate you coming through for the podcast, and hopefully we get to see more of you and get to see your picks.
My picks. All right.
More than likely I get to copy your picks because when I don't copy your picks, you hit a $400, $500 ticket, and then next day I copy your picks is like the wide receiver digging through too. So I'm like,
Man,
you know,
I'm about
you're
to
like
put some
Drake
there
May.
right now too.
You're like Drake May. You're 50-50. I can't trust you in the clutch. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
I guess I just got to bet
Okay.
on Thursdays because that's the only time I win. Looks like, but I'm gonna try again today here in a minute. We'll
Oh
see.
man, we'll see. But everyone listening, we appreciate you coming through and listening to us on the Over and Under podcast. Once again, let's thank James Spencer, which is your sleep pro pick expert, for coming through and chilling with
I'll
us.
take all my picks though.
As you know, my name is Charles Comer. I appreciate you. Like the video, subscribe, let us know what we could have done better. Let us know if some topics you want us to know. Sorry, let us know if there's some topics you want us to discuss about. Thank you for coming, and we are out.
See y'all.